Egyptian security forces clashed with hundreds of anti-government protesters in the seaport city of Suez on Saturday, firing tear gas and live rounds, said several residents who participated in the demonstrations. In a show of dissent, hundreds of Egyptians in Suez took to the streets for the second night in a row, heeding an online call for protests against President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. They were met with security forces barricading streets and deploying armored vehicles in downtown Suez, centering on Al-Arbaeen Street. A heavy security presence was also maintained in Cairo's Tahrir Square, the epicenter of Egypt's 2011 revolution, after protests in several cities called for Sisi's removal. Such demonstrations have been rare since Egypt effectively banned protests under a law passed after the 2013 downfall of ex-President Mohamed Morsi. Still, discontent over rising prices has grown as Sisi's government imposed strict austerity measures in 2016 as part of a $12 billion loan package from the International Monetary Fund. 1 in 3 Egyptians lives below the poverty line on less than $1.40 a day, according to official figures released in July. In Suez, there were about 200 or so people. Security forces fired tear gas, rubber and live bullets, and there were injuries. A man who took part in the demonstration but declined to be identified told AFP. Another resident, who also preferred to remain anonymous, said the tear gas was so thick it had reached her apartment block a few kilometers away from the turbulent downtown area. "My nose started burning. The smell was seeping through the balcony. I also saw some youth run and hide in our street," the woman said. A security source said there were dozens of protesters but could not provide further information about the authorities' response. The outbreak of protests came on the back of an online call posted by Muhammad Ali, a disgruntled exiled Egyptian businessman in Spain, accusing Sisi of rampant corruption and demanding he be toppled. Dozens arrested in anti-Sisi protests across Egypt. Read more. A leading rights group called for the immediate release of those arrested. In a statement on Saturday, Human Rights Watch (HRW) called on the Egyptian government to protect the right to peaceful protest, after dozens were arrested for demonstrations across the country. Under the rule of General-turned-President Sisi, authorities have launched a broad crackdown on dissidents, jailing thousands of Islamists as well as secular activists and popular bloggers. That did not deter hundreds of Egyptians from heading to Tahrir Square, the epicenter of the 2011 revolution, in the capital Cairo on Friday. At least 74 were arrested in Cairo alone, a security source said, and AFP journalists reported that security forces fired tear gas to quell the small-scale demonstrations. Other demonstrations in several cities, including Suez, also took place where anti-Sisi slogans were loudly chanted in a show of defiance against his administration. Clips of the Suez confrontations have been widely shared on a still-trending hashtag, but authorities have not commented yet on the unfolding melee. Let's block ads. Why?